everybody. Welcome back to The Cinnamon Effect. I'm Kimberly Hand, and I have Jessica Pearl with me again today.
Happy to be here. Always.
What's new? You look cute.
Thanks. I actually was stressed about the outfit today because I saw the video and I was like, okay.
If you don't know, you can actually watch the podcast also on YouTube.
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about. So we, got our show notes yesterday and watched the first episode, and now we're back. So it was so fun.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
So fun. And it wasn't that bad to hear my own voice,
I know a lot of people say oh, I hate the sound of my own voice. Isn't that a terrible thing? You should never hate the sound of your own voice.
You should never hate anything about yourself.
That's right. Positivity.
Yeah.
Stay positive.
It's tricky.
Yeah. So we love the sound of our voice and we love seeing ourselves on YouTube.
Yes. 100%.
Yes. I'm kicking the table. Today, we're going to talk about connection. Yeah. Going kind of deep. I mean, maybe not, but a little deep.
I hope so.
Yeah. So finding more connection. And I don't know, this kind of topic just kind of hit me because a couple of things. The other day I was on Facebook and I'm kind of in some of those Facebook mom groups, there's one, there's kind of a couple of Facebook mom groups within each city, I feel like. And I know this because there was one in another place I lived, and now and I'm in the one here, and there's a couple. So anyway, there was an anonymous post. You can post anonymously, which is kind of nice, but I find people posting
that's really passive.
Yeah, it kind of is, but these people are struggling, right?
Oh, okay.
And so there were some moms, not some moms, but I've kind of seen this recurrent theme when I'm checking these Facebook mom groups,
the feeds.
I kind of go down the rabbit hole with them too, because I'm wondering who is this person?
She's investigating.
I could almost deduce maybe who they are. Maybe I see them in the grocery store. I'm not sure, but that's the little detective in me that I side note, I always wanted to be an FBI agent. Just a side note there. So I like to profile people. Anyway, let's not get creepy. Let's get back to the Facebook group.
But anyway, where is this? Where are we going?
I know we're
really
spiraling. We're spiraling. But so it was this mom, and she was saying that she has young kids and she is struggling to find other mom friends, and she feels really lonely. Aww. And it really, I'm an empath, so it really just got me. I just felt sad. And I do think that I noticed this, with a lot of moms, and especially moms of young kids, that where they just feel disconnected from friends, from groups, they just can't find their way. And that's kind of the time of your life where you need the most support, So I remember when my son was little, doing the little music classes and things like that.
Yeah,
I loved that.
It was for him, but it was for you.
Yes. No, totally for me. It was absolutely for me. Yeah. More for me probably than for him. But then I moved away, moved to Park City, Utah, and was actually invited into a little group where we would do playdates on Thursdays. And we would, all get together at a different person's house each Thursday, and, let the kids play around. Someone, we'd all kind of bring some food and stuff. And it was so great, But
that's a special thing. I don't find, it was Utah.
It was, yeah.
I just think that some places you live, they don't, people don't connect as well. It's too much of a melting pot or.
Yeah. And yeah, Park City was kind of a small place. So, a little kind of small town vibe. So it was nice, and everyone kind of knew each other, but, that was such a great, time of my life. And also finding that connection with these women that we all kind of were from different places, and to be able to come together and support each other, during that pretty crazy, postpartum, like young child, toddler phase.
I can't even imagine.
Was so important. But I do think that, being a mom and being like a stay-at-home mom, because I definitely did that for a long time, and still like momming is my priority, but that it can be lonely, it can be really lonely.
Yeah, I'm not a mother, but I can only imagine. I have friends who have kids and they've figured out their ways, and have a lot of friends who also have kids.
Yes.
So I think it's really important. And I do think there is a moment of loneliness.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. It just really struck me. But so then I was like, diving deeper within myself. Excuse me. I need a sip of water. I was like diving deeper within myself and thinking like, how are the ways that I find connection with people? And now outside of this like mom group, now you have my kid is in school. And so I have those moms to rely on, and that's a great support system. But like, how do we find connection as women in this crazy world, And recently I have taken a couple of trips, and I don't think taking a trip is required to find connection, right? But this is kind of my way of doing it. And I've been lucky enough to go and see a couple of concerts with my like oldest and best friends. I also went.
I know, I saw that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I went at the kind of towards the beginning in April. I took my mom and we went to Denver and we saw John Mayer. And he's my absolute favorite. Anybody that knows me knows that.
And if you don't know Kim, she will bring this up quite a bit.
Yeah.
John Mayer
This will be
the mayor of Kim Town.
Don't tell my husband that. But you probably will hear about him more than once because he's like my favorite. He really is. So anyway, my mom is a huge music person.
Your whole life?
My whole life. My whole life. Always her like main musician that she loved and followed was Tom Petty. May he rest in peace. Yeah. Really good one. My mom literally knows everything about him.
Legend.
Everything. I mean, she knows his birthday. She knows fun facts about
So
Tom
the apple
Petty.
doesn't fall far from the tree.
Correct. So I definitely inherited that.
And it's very similar music. Didn't John Mayer do a Tom Petty?
Yes. So he covers Free Fallin', and basically usually does it in his encore.
Yeah, it's
so
awesome.
When I took my mom,
Just so weird, Kim, actually. That connection's very
it's
profound.
Synchronicity of life there, right? So
the universe is crazy.
Yeah, the universe is crazy. So anyway, I take my mom to the John Mayer concert. My mother and I had actually never done a trip together, ever. I mean, outside of like me being a kid, I guess. And
I was going to say, when you were a kid, you didn't do any type of...
Yeah, but this is different when you're an adult.
Yeah, because you can actually connect.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this was like, we're going to do something that we both love, which is going to see a concert. And it was really good for us. I would say it was really, really good to spend that time with her. I felt like I'll have that memory forever, right? And the encore that night was Free Fallin'.
Oh, I got goosebumps.
I know.
That's awesome.
So Mama was happy. She loved the song. So
It's a great version too.
Oh,
I really love that
so
version.
good. It's so good. So, okay. So flash forward. So that was in April. And then in June, I had my friend Melissa and I, oldest and best, friends. And we went to the Dead and Company show. There's a theme there because John Mayer is in that band. Well, I guess they've since like retired. This summer was their last tour. So her and I went, had just an incredible, I had actually never seen Dead and Company. So I'm a Dead fan by way of John Mayer, which I think is a little unique, and maybe other Deadheads would not like agree with that. But I talked to a ton of Deadheads that were like, we love John Mayer.
Of course you did.
Of course. Well, so concert
he's
Kim,
an amazing guitarist. Like
He's one of the best of all time.
Incredible.
Yeah. Let's just be honest here. I mean, I think anybody would agree with that.
Yes,
right?
1000%. Yes.
Music critics, yes. But the Dead experience was, and I know that wasn't actually the Grateful Dead, but the Dead and Company experience blew me like out of the water.
Musically,
the lighting.
Okay,
and
so musically, artistically.
Yes, just the whole vibe. I was like, this is incredible.
Just like the crowd too.
The crowd. I mean, forget it. There are people swirling around and dancing. Oh, it was, there was crazy guy to my one side who was, gosh, I can't think of his name, but it's also something crazy. Like, just the people. And we were in the pit. Melissa and I were in the pit. So we were like probably just 3 rows back, but you're kind of fending for yourself within this crowd, you know?
Right.
And one person on Instagram, before I went to the show, was like, make friends with people in the pit. You're going to want to utilize them because you're going to have to use the restroom and you're going to need to hold your spot. It's not like you have a seat.
Yeah.
So that was really good advice.
That's a good tip.
What I later found is like some people were bringing, gifts, treats for other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There was a guy handing out lollipops.
And that's what she meant by fend for yourself.
I know. I was like, maybe I should have brought lollipops for people, because there was a guy with,
it's like gifts.
Yeah. Yeah. He had like little organic lollipops, but I was kind of scared to take one. I don't know. Other people were eating them. I just wasn't sure, like, is this just a lollipop or is this something
if they're
else?
made in the house, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, it had a wrapper, but I was just a little unsure about it. But anyway, had a flipping blast. Okay, so we were only going to go to one night of the show. I had tickets for 2 nights. Kind of a long story behind that. But anyway, the second night, we ended up going. We ended up going to the show. We did 2 nights. We were like, we are savages. And then we later found that like, this Deadhead community, there were people that had been to 22 shows that summer.
So just
there
like
were people.
Oh,
yeah, I mean, kind of, because
22 shows in a summer.
In a summer, and
That's dedication.
Hundreds of shows over the course of like a couple years. And then I was like, oh, okay, 2 shows in 1 week or one weekend is not that big of a deal. And it was at Fenway Park, so it was a lot of fun.
Wow.
And we ended up
Historical too.
I know. And we ended up getting in the pit the second night too.
And did everybody say like, oh my God?
They were like, hey, and you just feel like you found your tribe of people. Mm-hmm. You're all connecting and all.
That's what I love about concerts.
Oh, concerts are the best.
Festivals. I mean, I'm a festival girl.
You're a festival girl. Yes, you're a festival girl.
Festivals. I have a festival coming up. I'm so excited about 3 days.
And let me just tell you, Jess goes all out for the festivals and she dresses.
Well, you have
It's always
to.
costume.
Yeah,
it's a costume vibe, which I love.
It's not like what do they call them? Wookiees? I don't do that.
Wait, what is that? I don't know what that is.
Wookiee. What?
Hippies.
They're like hippies, but they're like festival hippies where they like have the space buns and they're just like stomping around in the dirt. I don't do all that.
Okay,
I'm like a VIP
well, of course.
kind of girl.
Yeah, of course. I mean, look how cute you are.
I do the costumes, but the festivals and concerts, like the best.
Yeah. So
Always.
you connected that way too. Like,
absolutely.
I love that.
Music.
I feel like there's nothing better than being with someone that you really have fun with and being at a concert. Mm-hmm. So I realized that is my vehicle for connection is concerts. Yeah. Like that's where I'm feeling like the most like myself and free and just having such a fun time.
It's the what is it? 6th love language.
Oh, is it?
I've made that up.
Okay. No, I like that. Music. Well, I believe it.
Music is my love language.
I believe it. I would say maybe it's mine too. But my husband proclaimed he's not a concert guy. I don't really know what to do with that information. I'm like,
that's okay. As long as he's cool with you going into these pits, you know what I mean?
Being down in the pit. Yeah. Yeah. So Melissa and I do night 2. Night 2 is even better. Night 2.
I'm going to have to say I've never heard that type. Like, is it just like jammy?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So jammy, guitar solos. There's a drum solo that's literally, I think they do it every concert. like 20 minutes long. And the drummer, there's 2 drummers for the Dead and Company. And Mickey Hart, I think he's 80 years old.
Wow.
Which is insane.
So it keeps him
and
alive,
then he's keeping this like stamina up drum. And it's like major drumming. Like it was, I don't know, it was amazing.
That is amazing.
So flash forward to concert number 3.
Wait, what?
Yeah, number 3.
Okay.
So 2 nights. So we do Denver with my mom. I'm in Boston at Fenway Park with Melissa in June. And then just last week, John Mayer at the Seminole Hard Rock.
Girl, you've been busy.
I've been busy. So this is a great story.
That he was there.
This is a great story though, because this is so I go with my friend Kimber. We've been friends since we were 5 years old. We met in dance class when we were in kindergarten.
Okay, so music.
Yes.
Right.
Her name's Kimber. My name's Kimberly. Like our moms met, I think, at like Eckerd Drugs when we were, it was like I say drugs, but it was like a drugstore, right? Like a Walgreens.
If you don't know what Eckerd is, then you shouldn't be listening to this podcast.
Right. I mean, Eckerd, yeah, that's old school.
It's real old school.
But our moms met and we're like, oh, we should carpool to dance, right? Well, that was it. That was history. Like we were friends from that moment forward. So kindergarten on. So how many years is that? 37, 38 years. Wow. Crazy. So anyway, we don't get to go out and spend the night anywhere that often. Local? She's local.
Okay.
Yeah, we live close to each other. But so we go down. I had gotten the Denver tickets, the Dead and Company tickets already. Mm-hmm. And then John Mayer announces that he's doing a concert in Florida. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've already gotten
and
you're
on the email list.
I am,
so
but he like released it later. Oh. And so I'm like, of course I have to go to Florida. I mean, I can't not go in my
town.
My hometown.
It's 20 minutes away.
Yeah, I'm more than 20 minutes.
Yeah. But. Oh yeah, you're mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's Seminole. So I get tickets for that, and there's like 3 sections, and I get tickets kind of off to the right in the 4th row. Not going to sneeze at it. Really good tickets, right? So we're down there. We're getting ready. I say to Kimber, I'm like, I think my bucket list is to be in the front row.
Oh goodness. You spoke it.
I did.
Into the wind.
I put it out into the atmosphere, right? And I'm like, I just don't think I'm going to stop until I get in the front row because I've been in the 2nd row, but I was looking at those people in the front row and I was like, I want to be one of those people, right? So I kind of put it out there and we just get ready and whatever. Well, then we're trying to find a place to eat. We go to all the little places in the hotel, mm-hmm. Council Oak. There's place called like Bay or something. And so we're kind of trying to find, nobody has a reservation. I didn't realize how packed it is on show night. Like I shouldn't have.
I haven't been down there in a long time. But
It was very busy. It was very, very packed. So anyway, we're trying to find a place to eat. We actually went like those 2 places. Then we went back to the first place. Can we just sit at the bar? Nothing. So the Hard Rock Cafe is right outside of where you go in for the concert. So we go over there and we're kind of circling the bar. We put our name in. We're like, nothing's happening. She's like, it's like a 30-minute wait. Well, the opening act starts, at 8. And I'm like an opening act girl. I don't know. Do you like go for the opening act? No, you're just
really
the main.
Depends. It really depends on the opening act.
Yeah. So this was a good one. This was a good one. JP Sachs. I really like him. So I was like, I want to go, I want to get there. So we're kind of discussing out loud as we're circling the bar, what time we're going to go into the show. This sweet little lady comes over and she goes, hey, I heard you guys talking. Are you going to the John Mayer show? I'm like, yeah, we are. We're so excited. We're so pumped. Like if you ask me, like, I'm going to show you my excitement, right? So I was super excited. So she goes, oh, okay. And she started asking, some questions about the show and whatnot. And she's like, yeah, I don't really know a lot about John Mayer. She goes, but I have really good seats.
You're like, so do I, whatever.
Yeah. She goes, I have really good seats. And I'm like, oh, well, how good? And she goes, well, I'm in the front row, almost to center. And I was like, oh my God. And without even thinking, I go, how much do you want for those seats? And
Yeah, she didn't know anything about it. And you're like, hello, diehard fan right here.
yeah, exactly. And that's what I told her.
Let's do this.
Yeah, that's what I told her. I was like, diehard fan right here. So she's like, oh, but what do you have tickets already, right? And I was like, yeah, but
Nothing beats a front row, lady.
I was like, I really want to be in the front row. And I'm thinking the universe is reaching out to me right now
on the shoulder.
Yeah. So I really want to be in the front row. She's like, okay. And she was so nice. And I said, how much do you want? She's like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much to say. And I said, well, I have a little bit of cash in my purse.
Oh my gosh.
And so anyway, I pull out.
You have to tell the listeners like exactly.
I know. Okay. So exactly like how much. Okay.
Yeah,
so I
have to. It's
I had
like
$300 in my wallet,
so
which it was
screw
funny.
lunch.
Yeah. So screw anything
Dinner,
like
drinks.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm not going to eat for sure. So anyway, so she says, okay, well, how about, I give you, or you give me this and this for the tickets for like the upgrade. And so I'm giving her my tickets and then I'm giving her some money. Like,
but how did you know
tickets.
it wasn't like a scam?
I didn't know.
And honestly, like in that moment, you're just like, that doesn't even go through your head, right?
Yeah.
No, I didn't think so.
No, I was not thinking, but we did like, so once I got the tickets, like I had to transfer my tickets to her. So we do like a little switcheroo basically.
Okay.
And, so I made sure, like, I walked up there with her, like, just to make sure, like, now it's all barcodes and stuff on your phone, whatever. So anyway, she gets in. She had given me like paper tickets. So I was like, oh, are these like legit?
Yeah.
And yes, they were.
Paper ticket,
yeah.
whatever.
Yes, they were. And so we get in there and we're just like, oh my gosh.
And the seats are crazy nice, right?
Crazy good. Crazy good. We're right front and center. So it was incredible.
And it was
incredible.
Speak your truth. You know what I mean?
Speak it out there into the universe because I was like, oh my gosh. Well, it gets better because
what?
Yeah, it gets better. It gets better because, so another thing, finding connection, we meet these people that are next to us and they were awesome. Mm-hmm. They were a couple, and they had been on like the Dead and Company circuit. I think they said they've seen like 75 shows.
Wow.
So like big Deadhead fans, but they love John Mayer too. So we really connected. Carrie and Larry were their names. Yes.
Their names.
And they are
Shout
amazing. And I'm going to go ahead and be presumptuous and say we are now friends, right? We've like connected after the show. So anyway,
what? Instagram?
Through Instagram. Yeah. And now we have each other's phone numbers. So I feel like that's like friendship there.
That's very big friendship. So another connection.
Yeah. And we may go see another show together at some point. But anyway, so we meet them and we have so much fun. We kind of hang with them all night. And then show's over. We go, back to the room, whatever. Wake up the next day. I'm like, man, because I've seen night 2 when we were in Boston for the Dead show. And night 2 was like even better. And so I'm like, oh man, it would be cool to see night 2. It would really be
to the wind.
I did. I said it out loud. I mean, is that all you have to do? I mean, I don't know.
No, I think it's a little bit more than that. That's what they say, but
it was definitely manifesting at its finest because I was like, oh man, it would be so fun. This was just epic. And we had so much fun spending time together, whatnot. So Kimber's husband calls and he's like, you guys are having so much fun. He goes, if you can get a room, I'll get you guys tickets for night 2.
Oh my God, I love Kimber's husband.
I'm like,
sweet.
I am like,
that's really thoughtful.
That's incredible. Mm-hmm. Okay.
But even more still because you said that and then he called. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, when you're open to those things, and side note, Kim's always open to these things. Like, if this woman she's the shiny penny you pick up and it's on heads. Like, you know what I mean? She's good luck.
Oh, I wasn't always that way. So it's funny. But I do think when you open yourself up to those things, they do start to happen and start to flow. And I'm seeing that in my own life. So really put out the things that you want to do, the experiences you want to have, because I don't know. I mean, it sounds silly. It was a concert, but it was happening. So anyway, so Kimber's husband calls. I'm going to keep an eye. I'm going to, look at these tickets and whatever. And so before the show, he calls us and he got tickets for us. Well, no. So we got to backtrack a little bit because
I was like, are they front row tickets again?
You just wait and see,
Oh
girlfriend.
my gosh, no.
So we had to get a room. That was a major piece of the puzzle.
Right. And it's hard to get rooms there. It's not easy.
Well, so so they are completely sold out at the desk. Mm-hmm. She goes, your only luck is if you call the 1-800 number and they may have some rooms to release. I said, okay. So I get on the phone with the lady and
it's like an online booking service. So they hold a few.
Yeah, I think they hold a few. Mm-hmm. So she told me she had one room left.
Okay.
Not in the guitar portion of the hotel, but the other portion. So I'm like, okay.
Whatever.
So we booked the room. Mm-hmm. Then we go to check in. We're like, let's just try and check in a little early. Let's see if we can. So we go in line, talk to this woman. I'm going to give her a shout out, Muriel at the Seminole Hard Rock. We told her what we were doing. We said, we're on, mom's night out. Our husband said we could stay another night. What are the chances of that? Right. Said we could stay another night. So we're here for round 2. We got a room. She goes, hang on 1 second. And she leaves. And I'm like, oh no.
Muriel must be a mom.
I think so. And but I'm thinking that Muriel's going to tell us there was a mistake or something. Because she was gone quite a while. Right. She comes back and she's like, I just upgraded your room. And we were like, I mean, what?
Kimber's rubbing on you. She's like,
we're like, okay, everything's falling in line here, right? So we don't have the tickets at that point, but we've got a room. Okay. So we're like, okay, we'll figure this out. We'll get some kind of tickets.
Gets them on the phone, right?
Yeah. So so I'm on Ticketmaster. We're just eyeing the tickets, whatever. Kimber's husband calls us. We've got tickets for night 2. And guess what? They're the same exact tickets as the night before.
Because there was it the woman who just decided she didn't want to go?
No.
Or what?
No, it wasn't her, but it was the same exact tickets from the night before. Written in the stars, I think that we were going to be there 2 nights in a row.
That's crazy. And it's a lot of people would say oh, it's just a concert and you guys got lucky, but it's not. It's really not. I think there are forces that we don't see that people just can't grasp because it's not there's nothing scientifically proven, yada, yada.
Right.
But I think there is so much more to the universe and to the stars and all that really just pull in and they lean in. You know?
Lean in.
It's crazy.
Lean in.
It's really crazy.
So then Kimber and I were on the Jumbotron quite a bit. So we heard because we friends from the past, friends from high school. They were messaging us on Facebook.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy how that happens too?
I know. So we were on the Jumbotron. We were and we were living our best lives. We were smiling.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's
and some
so
people were
cool.
like, I was so jealous. I saw you. And oh man.
Did you get to make the screen or anything?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The Jumbotron.
Oh my gosh.
The huge thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there
amazing.
we were. We kept trying to take pictures of ourselves up there. But so long story short, it was epic.
And you didn't even, it was the same thing with the Dead and Company. You didn't think you were going to go. You decided to go.
Yes.
It's almost like you should just keep doing that. I don't know if I should go.
I know. I should go. But that's just kind of the metaphor for life.
Right.
Just go.
Right.
Just do it. Take the experience. You're questioning it. Just go for it. Mm-hmm. Put it out there. Put it out there. I want to be in the front row. Boom.
Same thing happened to me at the Billy Joel concert.
It did? Billy Joel and I share the same birthday.
Oh.
May 9th.
I love that.
Yeah.
New Year's Eve. A couple of years ago, we went and saw him.
Yeah.
We were walking to find food. And I'm like, it would be really cool. Because our seats were on the side, upper level. They were not good. But I was like, Billy Joel, it's freaking awesome, right?
Yeah.
And some lady walks up to us and was like, would you guys want to be in the front row? And we were like, heck yeah.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing experience. We were also on the Jumbotron. People also were messaging us like,
Oh
how
my
dare
gosh.
you?
Oh my
you
gosh.
know?
Yeah.
But same thing. And I just remember saying, like, when I was on my way there, I was like, I really would love to see him like up in center, up close. What does he look like? Does he look the same? You know?
Yes.
And it was an experience.
There's nothing like it. Well, especially if you really are into a particular artist. There's nothing like
Nothing
it.
like
It's
it.
incredible. You just feel like you're like, I mean, there's like eye contact happening.
Do you feel like he's like, oh yeah, I know you because you're there?
I kind of felt like because when we walked in the second night, the security guards, they were like, you guys were here last night. And let me tell you, there was a lady who was checking the tickets. Never going to guess what her name was. Happy. Her name was Happy.
Was it?
Yeah, and we're like, and we go through her line 2 nights in a row. Happy.
Hey, Happy.
Hey, Happy. I'm like, I mean, I really wanted to dive deep and find out how is her name Happy? I mean, I loved that.
Do you find that like when you're in circumstances like that you, I mean, obviously, I think this might be a question that's like completely obvious, but do you find that everyone around you, you're super hypersensitive to who they are, what their name is? Like you need to know who everything is, who everyone is around you.
Yes.
Because you're like, you never know.
Yes.
Like the Happy, like the security guards, like who knows? Next time you might get pulled up.
Yeah.
Actually, you're going to get pulled up next time.
Oh, pulled up on the stage.
Yeah. He does that sometimes.
You know, I don't
Sometimes.
think since COVID. I don't think since COVID that happens. But, you know, I do
at least
think,
like lean down and be like, hey Kimberly, I know who you are.
I would just
I think you would
cardiac
probably-
arrest on the spot.
I think you would melt. Ugh.
Well, what I didn't realize is that I am very like, I'm like yelling. I'm just so fully in it. So if you saw us on the Jumbotron, I was probably just like yelling
Completely involved.
and totally involved. And guess what? Night 2, Carrie and Larry were there too. So that's actually when we got their
gosh.
numbers because we were like 2 nights in a row. We're friends now.
I can't get over it's Carrie and Larry.
They're amazing. They're like an awesome, fun couple. And yeah, they love the music too. So super fun, super fun connecting with the music. You know, when you're at a concert and like, hopefully you're there because you really like the music.
Right.
You do make friends
Yeah.
because you're all
around.
Yeah,
Everyone's
and
around you and they're all coming together for the same common thing.
that's your tribe right there.
No one's
you know?
there without being like a curmudgeon.
No, I mean, I would hope not. I
know.
would say no.
Like, who are
leave
you? Why
then.
are you here? Go
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, get out of here. So yeah, nobody was like that. Nobody was like that.
When I went to that John Mayer concert, she got tickets for me.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Everybody around, it was just so amazing with the light, with the phones, and like, people just come together. Like it's a connection.
Yeah.
And that's why I say music is the love language.
Yeah, I didn't realize this was going to be a John Mayer tribute episode, but it kind of is. John Mayer, if you're listening,
Right? We'll just send it to him in his inbox. I love it. But that's how I think that's how you connect with people and you find your tribe is just by like doing things that you love.
yeah,
And that's kind of how the connection happens.
yeah,
Because they're also doing what they love. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it does, and whatever it is, like whether it's a book club or a mom's club or I don't know if that's a thing.
yeah. I mean, yeah, they're mom clubs.
Right? Or cycling or yoga or Zumba. I do it with my mom. So that's the thing I do with my mother to connect with her.
Yeah.
But it's the connect, like Zumba is crazy. It's the same thing. It's like the community is nuts.
I love Zumba.
I do too.
I need to go back to a class.
I do Zumba on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I haven't in a while. Anyways, but I find that that's like crazy how you find connections like that. And people all are there for the same thing. So when you're talking, it's like so easy to have a conversation because everybody's comfortable in the setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Book clubs are super fun too.
I want to be a part of one, but I haven't read a book in a long time. I'm an audiobook girl.
It does kind of, you feel like you need to read the book because you don't want to be the one who doesn't know anything about the book.
Yeah, I'd imagine like you walk in, you're like, I read the book.
Yeah. And I did show up to a couple book clubs, not having read the book.
Why?
And I'm harder on myself probably. And I just really felt like a loser, but, yeah, I would say, but it did prompt me to read. It's actually prompted me to start reading again. And so that was great. Maybe we should start a book club.
I'm down. I would
Yeah,
love to start a book club.
fun.
And like, but I think the books that you want to read are books that I want to read.
Okay. I've really fallen into a lot of like self-help, just very motivational type books.
Right.
Maybe some spiritual type books.
I know the one book that you were reading a couple months ago, you told me to read. I haven't read.
Signs.
And then there's the second book.
Signs is The Light Between Us.
Right. Did you finish that one?
I would love, yeah. No, I did not.
Okay.
I'm about halfway through. But I find that those are such easy reads to like pick up and put down. And
Right. They're not 100 chapters.
No. Signs, such a good book. That's also like being aware of the synchronicities of the universe and connecting with your team of light. Such a good book. Such a good book. So I would like to say, because I just recently listened to a podcast, Dr. Will Cole. I love podcasts. Part of the reason why I wanted to do one
So do
myself,
I.
but
You actually got me into podcasts.
yeah.
Yeah. You were with the Jay Shetty. Shout out.
Jay Shetty.
Huge.
Okay.
fan.
So that podcast, actually, so you sent me the one, the Airbnb founder. I think his name is Brian.
Brian.
Brian. I think his name, oh gosh, I could be wrong. I'm pretty good with names. I think it's Brian.
I think it was Brian. You're right.
Chesky? I could be wrong.
Actually, I think you're right. And that's why I think it's Chris.
Okay.
It's a
Chris.
Chicha.
Oh, Brian. Yeah. Andrew verified Brian. We should get you on a camera. Yeah.
Verified.
Yeah, you need
Chris,
a mic. You need a mic.
Brian what?
Yeah, Chesky, I think.
Brian Chesky.
Look how good I am.
You're
Come
good.
on.
See?
Come on.
See? You
Come
remember
on.
everything.
But he was saying that one of the reasons why he started Airbnb was connection,
Right.
For people to connect. And that's really what he envisioned. Yeah, it was this crazy, huge monster of a business, but the underlying like theme of it all was connection. And that after he became so wealthy and successful, he still realized that without all that, like what he really was lacking was connection,
That's why he started the whole entire thing.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
It's amazing. That's a really good podcast for anybody wanting like a good
such a good
recommendation.
episode.
After you listen to the Cinnamon Effect, you can listen to that one.
Yeah.
we love Jay
We'll write it
Shetty.
in the show notes.
Yeah, we love it. We love Jay Shetty.
Yeah.
So also another important piece of connection, I think, and something that I really have kind of dove deeper into after I turned 40, I'll say, is your connection with yourself, self-connection.
I'm still working on that one.
It's a big one. I think you have to be kind of okay with being quiet with yourself.
And soft with yourself and kind.
Yeah, kind. Positive self-talk instead of negative self-talk, which I was kind of terrible at that for a long time.
Are you good
And
at
see
that
that? Look,
now?
that's negative self-talk right there.
Yeah, I know. It's so
God,
hard.
it's
I mean,
so
listen,
hard.
we can't be hard on ourselves.
I know. Just like, but yeah, connecting with myself. So I want to tell this little story too, because this happened about a year ago, a little over a year ago now. But, my husband, he has a lot of hobbies.
A lot of hobbies.
A lot of hobbies. Like you think your husband has a lot of hobbies, meet my husband because he has a lot of hobbies. Okay. And so he's, I won't name all the hobbies, but anyway, so he goes off and
I just feel like he's good at everything. Anything he does, he's good at.
Yeah, he kind of is one of those people. He kind of is one of those people, which makes me a little jealous sometimes.
Right.
Why are you so good? No, he's great. But he would go off and do and everything. And he would always say to me, Kimberly, why don't you plan something? Why don't you go and do something that you want to do? And I didn't for a long time, young son and love being a mom and being with him. And I really didn't want to be honest. But I would say last summer I felt ready to go off and do something. And this was kind of before the girl trip concert thing came about. I was like, I just really feel like I need some quiet time. And I think a lot of moms can relate to that, especially moms. Anybody really, but like especially moms, right?
Yeah, like you're like super overstimulated all the time.
All the time.
You don't even realize it, that your nervous system is just like on high vibration.
High alert. And I actually, so this idea of taking a solo trip was something that had kept like popping in my mind. And I would like meditate and I would have just these thoughts about taking a trip by myself. And I had actually never really taken a trip by myself.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever done one.
No.
It kind of scares me to think about it, but
yeah, and me too, but
then I'm like, I know you did it.
I know.
So I can do it.
Well, I just kept thinking about it and I was like, I think this is something I really want to do. I really need to do this. So anyway, but I didn't want to do just anything. I didn't want to, I don't know. It had to be pretty special, right? So I started doing a little, and I did see Sarah Blakely, who's the creator of Spanx.
Oh.
Love her. She's a great Instagram follow. Like I just love, she gives great advice. She's awesome. But she had posted something about she goes to a hotel, I think for like 1 week a year. Sarah Blakely, you can correct me on this, but I think she goes like 1 week a year by herself. And I think she's got 3 or 4 kids. And she orders room service and she veges and she writes and she's creative and she does all these things. And I was like, wow.
I need that.
Yeah, I was like, that sounds pretty magical. But I couldn't really see myself going just to like a hotel room by myself. So anyway, more research happens and I decide that I love yoga and I decide that I want to do something involving yoga. So I start Googling yoga retreats and then I'm like, I want to go in the mountains somewhere. So yoga retreat, mountains, right? And I find this place, this magical, magical place that changed my life, really changed my life, called Feathered Pipe Ranch. Shout out to Feathered Pipe in Montana. I've never been to Montana. And
I heard through your photos, but I also heard it's just insanely magical.
Breathtakingly beautiful. And just a warm, I felt like warm, like the people were warm. I don't know.
I know. I've heard some of the stories you told me.
Yeah.
Are just incredible. But again, it's you.
Well, again, open to the scenario of doing something solo, just searching it out. And I found Feathered Pipe and they had a whole, like if you ever want to do yoga retreat, great place to go, but they had a whole host of different people, a bunch of different people that were hosting like week-long retreats. And so I'm looking, I would like not do anything. I would come back like a couple days later, look. And then there was somebody that I didn't notice before and her name is Sonia. Sonia has a podcast too, but I'd love to have Sonia on my podcast. But I saw her, she was like a former dancer, just her story and her bio. And there was like a little short video on there. I connected with her instantly. And I was like, this is the one I want to do. This is the retreat I want to do. And the timing wasn't the greatest because my son would already be back in school. And I really wanted to do something when he was like out of school. So we didn't have that, pressure. But I ended up booking it. And I went on what ended up being a 10-day the retreat itself was 7 days, but I gave myself like a day, I guess it ended up being like 9 days, some travel time. And I went on this like adventure by myself, stayed by myself the first night, stayed by myself. The next morning, got up, decided I'm going to go on a hike, which, I had hiked in Park City, but I don't really remember a whole lot. We used to think about like the moose being around, but they like not really necessarily bears. And I guess in Montana, like a lot of bears, right? And I just go out with like one water bottle and like a little backpack alone on this hike that I had Googled and like found this great hike, right?
So other people are going to be on the trail.
Well,
or
I know
whatever
other
it is
people are going to be on the trail, but I guess because of the time change or whatever, I was there super early, and I'm basically on the hike like by myself. I don't really see many other people there.
Okay.
Until I got a little further up, and there were some people that had already done the hike. And then as there was like a waterfall there. So as I kind of stayed there for a little while, more people came because they were like later than me. Right. And then I decide I want to hike higher. There's like this higher point. Well, I think that's where the bears hang out, to be honest. Ooh. But I met a couple other girls who just had water bottles like me. And I think you're supposed to like you're supposed to have bear spray. You're supposed to like ring bells, that kind. We had nothing, but the three of us kind of teamed up. Connection.
Water bottles.
Water bottles. We're the water bottle crew, right? So we just, we end up hiking, up like half the way and then coming back down. But anyway, so I go out, say goodbye to the new girls that I met. See you later. I get in my car, and now the trailhead's kind of busy. And I'm in a rental car. I think I was in a Chevy Malibu, and I pull over a little bit to the side of the road to like let another car in. I'm kind of in a skinny road, and the side of my tire clips a rock and immediately goes flat. And I'm like, oh no, this is day one of my trip. And I've got a flat tire on a trailhead, and I have 0 cell service.
My question to you is, did you ask yourself, why is this happening?
Yeah, I did. Not in some tears.
But not in like a negative way, and like what is the reason?
Yeah. Well, not at first.
Yeah, not at first.
Not at first. Fuck. I'm like a little bit, like a little bit in emergency mode, right?
It's your first day on a solo mission.
Yeah, on a solo mission. And I'm like, that's it. I shouldn't have come. I shouldn't have done this, right? Is that your like first thing when something goes wrong? You're like,
you go right to the negative, the fear-based thought.
Yeah, I should not have done this. What am I doing? And then I'm like, okay. No. Okay. I'm okay. I'm
It's just a tire.
Yeah. I'm just a tire, but I'm going to call AAA. I'm also going to call the rental car place.
Yeah.
Just a little tip, a pro tip. The rental car place, not as helpful. I will say AAA. If you have AAA, that was the best bet. But long story short, it took me 4 hours to get some help. Then they put a donut on the car. I had to drive the car back to the airport, which was an hour. Now, I'm supposed to be at my yoga retreat by this time. So, I am kind of that person where if I have 10 extra minutes, I'm going to stuff 20 minutes worth of stuff into that 10 minutes, and then I'm going to be late. So I was early, but then now I'm going to be late. So it's kind of the same scenario. I was like, I'm going to go do this hike, and then now I'm late to the yoga retreat that I'm coming to by myself, right? So the people from Feathered Pipe are calling me. Are you coming? What's happening? Yeah. I said, okay, I'm okay. At this point, I'm taking the car with the donut back to the airport, getting the new car, and now driving 2 hours to the yoga retreat. So on my way, but I'm definitely late. I get there. I'm arriving by myself. And
it's dark. Is it dark at that point?
It's not dark. Okay. Thank goodness. Thank goodness it's not dark. I don't know a soul, and I'm nervous.
And everybody's already met.
Yeah, everyone's already met. They kind of did their opening mixer, intros, kind of thing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm late to the party, right? But I end up meeting the most amazing people, all walks of life. There were probably 40 of us. There were men. There were women. I think the oldest woman there was almost 80. She was like in her 70s. And then the youngest one there was probably in her mid-20s. And so there were women of all different ages, all different backgrounds. There was a lady who used to be a judge. There were, it was so incredible to hear everyone's stories. And what Sonia is so good at is she did this opening circle where everyone goes and tells kind of what their motivation is for being there. And it's a lot of tears, it's a lot of, you just feel so like overcome with emotion about it. And of course I cried. I'm a crier though. So
am
I definitely cried. But in that opening ceremony, it's like the ice is broken and now you've connected with these people. And now we go this week long, we meditate, we hike, we do lots of yoga, we journal, we cry, we connect with each other like, in small groups. And it was such an amazing experience that I didn't really know was possible. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we all owe it to ourselves to put ourselves in that position, to be open, put yourself open, or put yourself out there, be open for more connection with people that you would not have necessarily dreamed about. This girl, Lisa, shout out to Lisa. We were kind of partners on a hike, and we still communicate through Facebook and social media and everything. And she has like flourished since the retreat. And she says the same about me. She's like, I see you.
Crazy.
Like,
I agree.
and it's, I don't think either one of us could really have expected that. And we also come kind of from different worlds. And she lives in Texas and I live in Florida. But you have this really impactful connection from doing an experience like that.
And not just a connection with people, what connection with yourself. Is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, connection with yourself too. Getting yourself out of a jam on a solo trip and being like, I got this. And like, all is good, right?
Yeah.
So I just really wanted to put that out there because I've talked to a lot of people, and some people that have been following me for a little bit have said, oh my gosh, the one thing they want to talk about is that solo trip to Montana.
And there's so much more to even dive into.
Oh, there's so much more to dive into on that story. But
I remember when you came back, it was like so much clarity.
Yes.
And then you decided so many different things.
Yeah.
After that.
When you can really tune into yourself and connect with what it is that you want,
I know. I feel like you threw away a lot of things you didn't want anymore.
Yeah.
And not in a bad way. I don't mean negatively, but I mean like nothing was, the things that you weren't serving you anymore, you kind of tossed aside.
Yeah.
And kind of like said your piece with it.
It's the feng shui. It's decluttering your life,
Yeah.
And that happened with that. And I realized, and I've done so much more of it, is like connecting with my friends, connecting with the people I love, connecting with myself. If there's something I want to do, I put it out there.
And you make time for it. And
make time
really
for
do
it.
it.
Yeah.
I think that's something that I struggle with, is putting the effort towards the things that I really want. Because I think in this day and age, it's like, you think you need the things that you're putting out, or like, oh, I really need that. I really want that. But it's like artificial things or materialistic things. And the things that you really need is the connection with yourself, the connection with your family, the connection with your loved ones, like connection with friends, people who you care about, people who bring things out in you. Those are the things that you really need. And I feel like sometimes I don't focus. I need to like sit down and really focus the energy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Put your intentions out
there. I want to do a retreat.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
But
it's like, do I do it with you or do I do it by myself?
I know. Well, you have to be the judge of that.
I know. I've never done anything by myself. Actually, that's not true, but it was very scary. And I didn't really make the most of it because I was so young. I wasn't I didn't know that this opportunity that I had was this big opportunity, I think looking back,
Yeah.
But everybody has their path.
That's right. Well, that's our story of connection, connecting with others, and connecting with yourself.
Mm-hmm. I love connection.
Me too. Thanks for being here with me today again.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's always so much fun to hang out with you.
Same, girl.